What it was is I'd composed a piece for a student who had small hands, and I realized he needs to play something else for small hands, and he had a very impressive technique. So I was thinking, what could he play? Anyway, if you want to play something that has the bravura technique in it, then small hands is almost out of the question. So I thought I'll compose something else with his personality in mind, but I call it the eccentric piano student. Not that he was eccentric at all, but when he played, there was a certain eccentricity about him, or a character about him, which inspired me to write this piece in this style. Yes. The same with all of my compositions that I write for my students. I dedicate them to my students. The reason why I write music for students is because I want them to develop their technique and their understanding of how to express themselves through music. And also I want them to enjoy playing music. There's a lot of music, wonderful music written by the master composers. Many students, especially within their first term of piano lessons, they cannot access them because they don't have the technique, they don't know how to read music well enough, and they don't have the understanding of how to express themselves through music yet. And so I wanted to write music for them that they can enjoy, that they can learn very, very quickly, and that in some cases that I can show them how to play, so that while they're learning how to read music, they're already playing it. The reality is that I was just sort of improvising, and then this idea came to me in C minor, and I thought, oh, I need to develop that. And 20 minutes later, I had the composition. And then after I had composed it on the piano, I went and wrote it down, which took considerably longer than actually composing it. I didn't really find any technical challenge for myself in writing this piece or playing this piece, but having given myself the rule that I must write music for people who cannot yet reach an octave, that was quite interesting, because I ended up writing ideas that I would never have come up with had I not given myself this rule of writing for small hands. And I had to use my imagination a lot more when I couldn't write in octaves or write music where there were octaves. In the past, if someone said compose a piece, it would have to be full of octaves, and then of course that sort of crowded out my own creativity. As the pianist is playing it, you can think of an eccentric piano student. Perhaps you could think of it as someone who's a little badly behaved, especially with some of the left-hand accents, and slightly unpredictable middle section, as if to say sort of as good as gold, but he's just planning to come up with his next trick. A slightly unexpected ending. So I think a lot of humour should come across to the audience in this piece. I think the advice I would give to somebody who has studied this music and has already put into practice the advice that is already in the publication itself, definitely record yourself, listen back to it. Are you actually playing it in a way that how you want your audience to hear it? I think if you have mastered it, then bringing across its character, it should sound effortless. If it doesn't sound effortless, then there's something wrong, and then perhaps you might need to go back to basics. But there's no shame in that, because even professionals, we are constantly going back to basics just to fine-tune our technique. Technique is everything. If you don't have technique, you can't express what is going on in your heart. So it could be said that we need the technique to play musically and to express.